Hello and welcome. Today we're working on the managerial accounting full course. We're doing a complete cash flow statement. We're going to use the indirect method. That's the most common method. So we're going to do the cash flow statement at the end of this chapter on cash flows. Hey, if you're new, my name is Jeff from Finally Learn. I teach a lot of accounting and finance and Excel. So please like, comment, subscribe. I'm working on the full managerial accounting course here in January of 2026. And so let's get started with this full problem. So let's say we have the Martin Company, we have a full balance sheet. Okay, we're going to do and the instruction should be prepare the statement of cash flows, right? So I'm going to edit this just a little bit. Prepare the statement of cash flows using the indirect method. We're going to do indirect here. All right, so the Martin Company, we have the current year, we have cash, accounts receivable, inventory, and total current assets. We have equipment and then accumulated depreciation equipment, and we've got total assets. We've got a few current liabilities, and then we have common stock retained earnings, and so we have 2 years. This is a comparative balance sheet, so we can see the difference. Okay, now remember, we've got 3 sections. We've got operating, investing, financing. Operating is everything involved with net income. We're going to do depreciation. We'll do any gains or losses and any current assets and current liabilities, the changes in those. Those are all going to be operating activities. So I've set up toward the bottom, I've set up just the skeleton here of the cash flow. So we have operating, we have investing, and we have financing. And if we do it correctly, then the cash flow is going to be the difference between our beginning and ending cash. So right here, this difference. In fact, let me go ahead and make the difference here. 30,000 minus the 29,000. The difference is going to be 1150. Now, did cash go up or down? Actually, it went down. So that's our answer for the statement of cash flows to explain why it went down 1150. Okay, so let's get started. What we're going to do is we need, since we're on the indirect method, we're going to start with net income. So net income, I'm just going to point to it here. Net income is going to be the 10,500. We always start with net income and then make adjustments. One of the adjustments we're going to make is there on the income statement, is there depreciation or amortization? Well, we do have depreciation. So I'm going to take depreciation and point to that depreciation. And what is our depreciation expense? Now, it comes out as a negative on the income statement, so we're going to add it back to get rid of it. It's a non-cash expense. So what we have is net income plus depreciation expense. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do a subtotal just so we can see how that total is going to go. If that's all we have net income and depreciation, then we would say the operating cash flow is 17,700. We have some more. We need to take the differences in the current assets and the current liabilities. So let's look at our first current asset. We're going to scroll up here. Accounts receivable went from 13 down to 10, so that's a decrease in accounts receivable. So let's call it a decrease in accounts receivable. Now, what we want to do is, I'm just going to start making the difference in each of these. So the accounts receivable went from 13 down to 10, 13 minus 10. I'm just going to do make the numbers positive. So, and then we'll figure out, do we need that to be a positive number or a negative number? Now, anytime assets go up, we assume cash goes down. So we're going to assume here that, hey, we had accounts receivable, we collected on accounts, so therefore our cash goes up. So this is going to be a decrease in accounts receivable, and the amount is going to be that 3450. I'm going to go back and grab that number. Okay, so here's what we have so far. We've got net income, depreciation, and then the decrease in accounts receivable. Now the next thing we're going to see, we're going to have an increase in inventory. Okay, so I'm going to show you what that is. Our inventory goes from 67 to 90. I'm going to make it 90 minus 67, just so I have a positive difference, right? So we're not confused like positive and negative right now. But what happens is anytime an asset goes up, cash goes down. So we're going to take this number, 22,550. I'm going to make it a negative 22,550 here. And so inventory going up means we purchase more inventory, 22,550. All right, we have a couple more things that are related to our current liabilities. So here we have accounts payable. The difference is 1,200. Accounts payable went down. Went up, right? Accounts payable went up, so therefore that's an increase in accounts payable. Increase in accounts payable. Increase in accounts payable. All right? Now, if we're borrowing money, if our liabilities go up, then that means our cash goes up. So this $1,200 is going to be an increase in cash. Okay, the very last thing is we're going to have a decrease in salaries payable. Decrease. A decrease in salaries payable. So that number is going to be a negative number. So let's grab that number. It goes from 1950 down to the 400. So that's a decrease. 1950 minus 400. So I'm going to make that a negative 1550 down below. So here, negative 1550. All right, so what we have is our cash flows from operating activities is going to be a negative 1750. We have net income. We added back the depreciation. We have changes in current assets and current liabilities, but this is how we do it, okay? Now, investing activities. What are investing activities? Any non-current assets. So we're going to look at the asset section, except not the current assets. So go back to the very top here. I know we're scrolling up and down a little bit, but hopefully this will be very helpful for you. Our equipment's going, the difference is 10,400. It goes from 41 up to 51, right? An increase of 10. By the way, the accumulated depreciation is the difference between 22 minus the 15. So that's 7,200, and both of them are negative here. That 7,200, we already have explained it with the depreciation expense. Okay, so we don't have to worry about that one. So I'm going to get rid of that. But if we buy equipment, what does that do to our cash? Well, that's going to be a decrease in cash of 10,400. And I'm going to point to it just because it makes it easy here. So we purchased, this is a purchase of equipment. Okay. Here we purchased equipment and our cash goes down, right? So we want this to be a negative cash because you buy the equipment here for 10,400. All right, so we've done 2 of the 3 sections now. We've got cash flows from investing activities. In fact, let me give myself a little bit more space. We have, whoops, wrong place. Cash flows from investing activities. It's just that one because we only have one non-current asset. And then we've got cash flows from financing activities. And financing activities are going to be stockholders' equity and long-term debt. Okay, so I know one thing we did have is, let's look here. We had dividends declared and paid, and we issued common stock, and we purchased equipment for cash, 10,400. All right, so that explains our 10,400. We have verification. We'd have to kind of assume that, but we have additional information that says, hey, this is 10,400. So now we're going to look at these 2. But let's go back and look at what we can see. The difference is here The 12,000, we must have issued more stock of 12,000, okay? And then retained earnings. Now watch, retained earnings goes up with net income, but it goes down with dividends. So this should explain if we take 13 plus the income of 10,500 minus the dividends, and we'll see we get that 22,000, okay? So it goes up by about 9,000 or so. All right, so let's look at what we have for the cash flows from financing activities. We have two things. We have a sale of stock, and that's going to increase our cash, okay? And we saw that was 12,000 on the balance sheet, okay? So that's sale of stock. And then we have cash dividends paid. And you know that's going to decrease our cash, right? Paid. And so that's $1,000. So then our cash flows from financing activities is 11,000. Okay, so now here's the magic moment. Our net cash flow should be a 1150. Okay, it goes down 1150. So we should have negative 1150. Let's see how it works. We're going to take the cash flows from operating plus the cash flows from investing plus the cash flows from financing. Woohoo! It worked. 1150 is a negative. So therefore, if we take the very top number, the cash flow at the beginning of the year, let me grab that one more here. One more scrolling. Beginning of the year, and we add that to 1150 is minus plus the 3550. Then we have 29,400. That's our number at the, that's 29,400. That's our cash balance at the end of the year, and we're done. Okay, now, this is how the complete statement of cash flows using the indirect method. We don't have to say it's indirect because we can see it starts with net income and makes adjustments, and then we have investing and we have financing. Here is kind of the answer here, the 11,150, but that ties into the beginning balance, the ending balance, and we feel good about it. All right, so this is how you do the statement of cash flows. We're finished with all our statement of cash flows problems. So now we move on to the next chapter, which is chapter 14, financial statement analysis and doing ratios and things like that.